All right, just a little bit of time here left in practice. I'll say we'll do the official stuff here shortly, but I just want to welcome you all to the Green White Checkered TV here, broadcasting the Area 51 Racing League, the Indy series here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, also known as Mosport. A lot of variations of how it's pronounced. I probably am butchering one of the two. So, practice is just finished up. So they're going to start their qualifying session here shortly, and I think qualifying is going to be extremely important tonight, just because let's say this is a really tricky road course. It's a lot of fun when you can get the hang of it, but it's a very tricky one with a lot of elevation changes, a lot of kind of fast corners, slow corners, even some like off camber corners, and you got that really long backstretch where you can get a lot of draft. So gonna be exciting to see what these guys are able to do here. Say they're all starting to get their out laps right now to get up to speed to put down some laps and see where they're going to start tonight. So I believe tonight is going to be a timed race. I believe it's going to be 51 minutes. So I'll have to keep an eye on that as things progress here. That's something we'll definitely want to keep an eye on and check to see as it goes. And then the other thing to look for is, with that being said, there will not be any cautions, so there won't be any green-white checkers or anything of that sort tonight. However, say pit strategy is still going to be key, kind of getting the timing right for when's the right time to stop. If you can one stop it or two stop it, things like that. Um, and then of course just keeping all four wheels on the track, because this is an easy track to overshoot your turns and go off into the grass. And if you're on a high-speed turn, you overshoot it, you catch that grass, you're pretty much going to be going along for a ride, and more than likely going to damage probably some suspension pieces. So you got to be really careful with that in mind. So I'll say some of the drivers just starting their first hot lap here right now. So say we'll kind of take a look and see where guys are here on track. So right now we're looking at the number 21, oh sorry, 211 of Mark Rubilis. So he's on, I believe he's on a hot lap right now. So it doesn't tell me if they're on their first lap or if they're on their warm-up lap. Unfortunately, oh, as you can see right there as it cycles through, unfortunately, someone missed that turn we talked about. It'll bite you, and that's kind of what happens. So right now it's just kind of cycling through the various drivers as things go. So like I said, qualifying's still going on right now. Still got about 3 minutes or so left. And then, yeah, say once they all get their laps done, we'll go ahead and go through the starting grid before they take their laps. As you can see right there, you got the 10 car got a little bit off. Gonna see if you say it kind of slides off, but yeah, no, you're exactly right, Tim. I say this track is extremely brutal. It's a lot of fun once you can get the hang of it, but it's definitely a handful to kind of get underneath you. I say it took me a while. I actually ran some practice laps before the race started here just to get a feel for it with these Indy cars. And honestly, with the Indy cars, to me it's even more difficult. It just everything happens so quickly, and these things stop and turn so well. You have to just really be right on the money with everything. Like with the cup cars or trucks or whatever, those you can kind of hustle them a little bit more, and you're going slower in general through the turns. Like some of these turns with the Indy cars, you're flat footing it, which I just blows my mind with how fast these things can take this track. So it's gonna be exciting to watch, though. Yeah, there's gonna definitely be a lot to try to keep an eye on for who's where on track and if anything happens. So qualifying still going on right now. At the moment, it looks like Chad Wilkes is on the top with a 101.9. Pretty close actually for second, less than a tenth of a second between the 131 and the 210. I'm saying they're both making their laps, or their second lap, I should say, right now. So we'll see if either of them are able to bump forward. And the other thing I did not ask the admins, but we'll definitely keep an eye on with the cameras here tonight, is if they have the push to pass enabled, because this is the first road course that they're running this week. I'm saying actually I'm gonna try to jump over to their league's info so I can kind of see. I think qualifying just finished up here, so yeah, it looks like the pole sitter is going to be that 17 of Chad Wilkes. Switch over once he joins on track here. Yeah, so we've had three races so far at Indy, Dover, and then the Milwaukee Mile. This is the first road course that they're running tonight. Chad Wilkes is actually the last winner here, winning the Milwaukee race. Say that one was definitely a track position type race, which here is going to be, I think, a kind of a similar situation as well. So I'll have to keep an eye on kind of minimizing mistakes, things of that nature, and everything like that. But right now, though, say they're all still gridding up here. So you got the so let's while they're doing that, let's go ahead and go through the grid here. So on the pole position, you have the 17 of Chad Wilkes. Next to him is Craig Forsyth in the 131. Starting in the third position, you have Devin Brock in the 210, and then David Leclerc in the 50 car, starting fourth. In the fifth position, you have Michael Spell and the 76 of Jim Brooks, starting in sixth. And then rounding out the top 8 right now, you have Gabe Butler and Maxwell Caldwell. Those are the 8 drivers actually that put in a time. Let's say you'll see right here it's going to show blank, I believe. Yeah, so the rest of the drivers did not put down a qualifying lap. So in 9th position is Bud Steele, 10th is Stuart Ovens, and then in 11th, let me switch over to the grid here. So in 11th is Dwight Plush, 12th Robert Richards, 13th Charles Johnson, 14th is Corey Lane. So I'm trying to see the way they're stacked. This might be a standing start here. I did not ask about that. We'll have to keep an eye here. So I don't see a pace car. We'll keep an eye on things and say we'll see how they jump off the line here if it is a standing start or not. That would be something that I wasn't expecting. And I'm going to say that, yeah, we had a standing start here. So say green flag is in the air. Say it was a standing start there at Mosport. Say I'll have to check on that in the future. Say I apologize for the not realizing that. So right now, though, it's a pretty good start for the leaders there. You can see they all kind of have a little bit of gap between each other. So you've got the 17 Chad Wilkes, Craig Forsyth in the 131, and then Devin Brock in the 210 right now. The top 3 kind of have a little bit of a gap there behind the actually looks like David Leclerc in 4th. So I'm going to let things cycle through here. Actually, I think that might be the 50 or the 88 that may have got up into that 4th position there. Yeah, it's Michael Spell. So he's gained a spot on the start. Looks like Jim Brooks as well. Kind of going through the grid here. Keep an eye. Looks like the 915 may have had an issue there. You can see, yeah, so he looped it around. Looks like Damage Eyes looks in good shape, so I think he's still doing all right there. So we'll move back up front to the leaders, though, because they're still right on top of each other here. Actually, the top 4 right now are all nose to tail. It's kind of a little bit of a gap now to the 5th position, which it looks like may be... I'm trying to see right now. Looks like there's some pit stops going on actually already. So at the 50, the 76 are both in. Let's take a look, see if there's some damage to those cars as they're going here. Yeah, you can definitely see the 76 is missing some nose piece there, so he's getting that taken care of as well. So that looks like some incidents to start off, unfortunately for those guys. So 76, the 50, and the 94 all making first lap pit stop there. Up front, though, say Chad Wilkes is still hanging on here, and say hop on board with that second place car of Craig Forsyth. We'll see, kind of watch him. So he's got that driving seat that's going to drag him right up to him. It's just trying to find the spot to make that pass happen. And this is one of those turns that it just kind of gradually slows as you turn, so you have to be real aggressive, and then just kind of you have to back it right back down. So I just noticed that my ticker, again, I'd have to see what's going on with this ticker every time I have to cycle it through here. So for now, I'll leave it alone. I'll say we'll just let things run here, and I'll update it once things spread out just a little bit. But right now, we got a really good fight here, so I don't want to miss too much while we're messing with that. And then behind them, again, we got the 210 of Devin Brock, and then kind of we had a car in the pits there. It's kind of in between them right now. I think that was David Leclerc, so he's kind of in between that 3rd and 4th car. So that's gonna be something Michael Spell's going to try to get around him as quick as he can, stay on track with the leaders here. But right now, the 17 though, Chad Wilkes still able to kind of hold on right now. Is that 131 though, Craig Forsyth, he's doing all he can to kind of hang with him here. Hasn't got there yet, but I say it's still early, and I think right now just kind of keeping that pressure on is, I think, going to be the best way to go. So I'm going to fix that. I fix that setting here real quick. We can get that ticker working correctly here for you all. But yeah, say right now though, say those top two are really holding pretty steady. They're kind of slowly sneaking away from that third place car of Devin Brock. Not too much though. Say it looks like we have another car in the pits. I think that's Eric Laurie in the 071. He's made a pit stop as well. Say working on getting the ticker back here. Looks like the intervals are showing correct now. Alright, and I apologize, I have not memorized all the turn names and numbers and everything, so you'll have to bear with me on that one. But trying to keep an eye on the various things going around track. Right now, this lead battle is actually pretty much the closest battle we have on the track at the moment. And the fact that it's for the lead, definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Craig Forsyth really trying to keep that pressure on him. So he's coming through the last turn here through the start-finish line. So this will be lap number 5, I believe, of... Well, so it's going to be a time limit. So right now it looks like it's roughly going to be about 45 or so more laps. Again, this is a timed race. It's going to be 51 laps. Or sorry, 51 minutes. And the lap times are just over 1 minute for these guys. About a minute 2, minute 3, somewhere in that range. Of course, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 pit stops. So that's going to be something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, so strategy is definitely going to come into play here. But right now, though, that 131 of Craig Forsyth is trying to keep that 17 of Chad Wilkes. Just keeping him honest right now, if he makes any mistakes, he's going to be all over him here. And then same thing, 210, he's really not that far behind those guys, just like maybe about a second or so, second and a half. However, same thing, if either of those two slip up just fighting with each other, it's going to bring him right back into the mix. And then they're also working on coming up onto lap traffic here for drivers that had to make an early pit stop, including right now they're coming up on the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. So he had to pit early as well, so he's kind of not in the position he wants to be, but he's going to try to make the most of it here. As I said, you see really nicely there, moves out of the way, lets those leaders by, kind of regroups, and he's just going to try to probably hang with them, maybe learn a little bit as well. That's kind of how I try to do things, is to improve, is just by following the fast guys. You see now the same thing here. You got the 210. Oh, right there you see Maxwell trying to give room, but again, it's really easy to overshoot that, just that little bit. But you say he backs out, lets the 210 go by, so that's going to give Devin Brock some clean air again to try to chase down those front two. So back up front though. Again, Craig Forsyth, he's keeping the pressure on. The other thing I'm trying to, I believe they do have push to pass. So I just noticed right now, you can see in the on the bottom of his steering wheel, they have those numbers there, and right now it's showing 9, which I believe is the remaining amount of push to pass. I'll have to see if that's an accurate number. Maybe we'll scroll through the field a little bit to see. But that's going to be a critical thing as well. As I said, you can see the 17 got loose there, and then that opened the door for Craig Forsyth. He's going to jump ahead here, take the lead, and that's what I was talking about, keeping that pressure on him. He stayed on him. 17 made just the smallest of mistakes, and then Craig was able to capitalize on it. Takes the lead here as we completed, or as we're on lap 7 right now. And then, yeah, but now the shoe's on the other foot here, so Chad's going to try to keep the pressure on Craig. And you see a little bobble there out of that 131 car, so these guys right now are kind of gapping that third place car just a little bit, again about a second and a half or so over Devin Brock. But yeah, these guys are really on it here. That's that last turn there, that little chicane, or not chicane, that little hairpin before the long backstretch here. It's really easy to get the power on too soon and then just kind of burn the tires up here. So we'll hop on board now with the 17 car. So take a look. And actually, you can see right there, he's showing 10 push-to passes remaining. So based on that, that means that Craig Forsyth used one at some point during this race already. So he's got one less remaining. That's definitely something you have to kind of use strategically. As you see right there, they got around the 76 of Jim Brooks. Like, he looped it as well off of, I think it was off the final turn there. So he's going to try to get back going there. So yeah, this is one of those, like I said, this is an easy track it'll burn you really fastly. It'll burn you really quickly. 17 gets a little out of groove, able to hang on to there. So as I talked about that track biting fast, that's also another turn where it's a little deceiving how fast or slow you have to take it. Kind of a late apex on that one, so you go in a little faster and you have to slow down that little extra bit. We'll see right here if he's going to maybe consider using a push to pass to bring that gap down a little bit. Looks like right now he is not. He's content with where he is on track. However, right behind him, there's that 210, and he's got 8 push to passes remaining, so he's used 2 already. and now he's back in the draft of that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So that's going to be the same thing. It's kind of that combination you got to work on if you want to use the push pass, if you want to use the draft as well. Up front, the leaders are battling here, trying to get around a lap car there. So I think they're able to get by. Oh, catches him just at the wrong time in the dirt. He's able to keep it clean here. That really hurt, though, the 210 there, and I think that was the 200 that got caught behind there. You can see right there he's going to move out of the way. I'm sure there's some frustration for the 210 of Devin Brock, unfortunately, but so he was able to keep it off the wall, and that's honestly the biggest thing that he could have had right there for his own sake, because that was almost a really big moment. However, that did cost him about 3 seconds, I'd say, from those lead two, so he's going to have to try to regroup and get back after it here. But yeah, so that was definitely a moment there, but able to save it. So we'll move back forward here. So it looks like the 17 is pretty close again to that 131. There he is. Say back again, right behind him here again. Just same thing. Just try to keep that pressure on him. Say right now the top. So we've talked about the top three. Fourth right now is Gabe Butler in the one car. Started 7th, currently 4th, and then in the 5th position is Corey Lane. Started 14th and is up to 5th, and then the 15. Starting 15th was the 36 of Art Peck, up into the 6th position, and then Michael Spell, I believe, is, as I said, there was a little bit of a mistake there, so you can see he's going to let the 17 get back by here. So now I got another lead change there. It's going to put the 17 back in front of the 131. I'm not sure if he made a little mistake there. I was kind of watching the ticker there, unfortunately. As I said, they're catching up on Bud Steele right at that hairpin. So now, though, this is the best time they can try to jump around him here. Say Bud will probably roll off the gas a little bit, let them all jump by here. And then I'm trying to see who's that next car behind them. It's the 915. Yes, the 915 of Jared Kaczynski. Same thing, I think he made an early pit stop as well. He's actually the first car of those one lap down. However, he's running really well right now. So you can kind of see he's been keeping up with that lead pack. I think he's even maybe chased them down a little bit there as well. So again, though, you have to be really careful. You can see he kind of took that turn a little bit too wide that hurt his entry there into that last turn. Just the way this track runs, it's very tricky, and these guys are definitely going to be having their hands full. So trying to keep an eye. I say right now it looks like the 131's kind of evened out his gap to the 17. I say it's about 7/10 of a second. Say Devin Brock's kind of stationary about that 3 seconds or so back. He's going to have to try to work his way to get back forward. Say we mentioned the one of Gabe Butler. Again, he started in the 7th position. He's currently up into the 4th spot. So he's been kind of just, I think, right now taking care of his stuff and minimizing mistakes. Again, it's really the critical thing here. You got the 10 of Corey Lane in 5th. And again, he started 14th, so he's made a really nice charge here. And then move over to the 6th position of Art Peck. So he started 15th and up to 6th, and then we have Michael Spell in the 88. So he was running. You can see a little bit of rear wing damage and front wing damage. So he's been involved in an incident. So he's just trying to probably limp it along at this point. Try to see if he can get to the try to get to the pit stop so he can use one of those fast repairs at this point, because that's definitely going to be critical, but you don't want to make that extra pit stop if the car's driving in good enough condition. So then in 8th, you have Dwight Plush in the 44. He started in the 11th position, so he's been moving up a little bit. So we talked about Jared Kaczynski in that 915. Right now he's showing in the 9th position. Started 17th, so he's made a good gain as well here. I see one there was off as he went by there. I think that was the 07. Yeah, that was the 071 there of Eric Laurie, unfortunately. And gonna go through. I believe the 10th is or was the 200. Yeah, 10th is the 200 of Stuart Ovens. He started in the 10th position, so he's pretty much holding station. As I said, he gets a little bit off the line there. Actually, he's got some front wing damage as well in that left front. You can see it there. So I think that was trying to see where he is. There is the 28 that just went by him. But up front, we'll go back over the leaders because they're still in a pretty good battle between them. Nothing too crazy yet. They're still got a little bit of a gap between the two of them. But again, right now I think Craig's still in that nice spot, just keeping him honest and see if he has any mistakes or anything along those lines. he'll be right there as he was able to capitalize earlier. He gets a really good exit there off of that hairpin. So he'll hop back on board here. So he's checked on the push to pass. He's at 8 now, so I think he may have used 1. However, again, he's back right on the draft of the 17 of Chad Wilkes. So right now this is saying lap 13 of 49. So I think it's trying to estimate based on time how many laps they can go. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And the one thing I have not mentioned is with these cars is with the NASCAR cars, you can use the curb a little bit to help you out. With these things, they're just so stiff that you really don't want to touch the curbs with them because it'll really upset the car and usually makes bad things happen. So here's trying to figure out where he needs to go to get around that lap car. That was the 131 trying to get around. I think that may have been actually, what was that? That was the 200, I should say. Able to get by him there. So he didn't lose too much time, just a little bit. So you can see again, try to make that hairpin exit. Oh, there you go right there. He's on the push to pass here. He wants to minimize any of that time lost here. So he's on the button and saying that gives him a little bit of extra power. He's going to try to see if he can grab back onto that 17 of Chad Wilkes, who's got a little bit of a tow from the car in front of him, which I believe is the 36 of Art Peck. So you can see he was running that as deep as he could, and so now he's going to try to, and right there, I mean, he's able to get right back onto the gearbox of the 17 car, so that was actually a really good strategy here. So he'll hop on board the 17, and he's still got all his push to passes left, so he's kind of saving them at this point. He's kind of got him in the bank for later in the race should he need it, which is definitely kind of, there's those strategies you have to decide how you want to use them. So basically right now Craig's used 3 of his 10, and so should they be in a battle towards the end of the race, that's going to give the advantage to the 17 to be able to kind of use more than Craig will and maybe be able to stretch that gap out depending on where their position are. As I say that though, the 131 makes a dive there into the leading into the hairpin. So you see the lap car just move out of their way again, doing all he can to kind of continue his race but not mess them up. So again, really good job by these guys. They're definitely doing the best they can. So that's the 210 starting to kind of claw his way a little bit closer back in there. You say he's got 6 of the push to passes remaining. He's catching up on that lap car as well that they had just gotten by. So he's still about 3 to 4 seconds behind. However, he's making a really good kind of keeping up with them. And right now, I believe there's only 5 cars left on the lead lap. And saying that's the 1 of Gabe Butler in 4th and the 5 of Corey Lane in the 5th position. So as I see that, so you see the 210 is able to get by that lap car right there. So up front though, again, still a really good battle for the lead. So I'll try to keep an eye on their intervals as we go. So I think we left off right around the 9:15 of Jared Kaczynski that last time by, and it looks like he actually just got by that lap of the 36 Art Peck. I think Art may have had he may have been in an incident there. You can see bringing it into the pits here. So that's going to cost him a few spots, which is going to move. Now the next car that I haven't talked about is Charles Johnson in the 28 here. So that's going to potentially be a position for him to move up. Right now he's currently showing in the 10th position. If he can jump around the 36, that'll bump him up into the 9th spot. Looks like pit-wise, looks like Charles pitted about 8 laps ago, so he has pitted once already in this race. I'm not sure if it was due to an incident or if it was just maybe trying a different strategy than some of the other guys here. And then behind Charles is the 211 of Mark Rubilis. So he's showing currently in the 11th position, which I think might jump now. Nope, I think it's still showing the 11th position. I think he's actually 2 down at the moment. Let's see, we've got after Mark, we've got the 76 of Jim Brooks. I think we've seen him, unfortunately. So we saw the leaders go by when he got off track a little bit there earlier. He's as well showing 2 laps down in the 12th position. Behind him is Stuart Evans. And again, you can see that a little bit of the left front wing damage. Same thing, probably just trying to save that until a fast repair. 14th is Eric Laurie. And let's see, I think David Leclerc may have retired already. Oh, as I say, you can see Eric Laurie spinning. They're able to keep it straight. He's like kept it off the wall. I say no harm, no foul, just a little bit of time lost. But I say again, this track will bite you. So say to be able to get away with that with just a slide, I think that's about the best you could hope for there. And as I say that, I think the leaders are in the pits here. So let's jump over to the leaders here as they make their pit stops. You can see both the 131 and the 76 are in. So we'll hop on board here as we'll follow them through. And this will be critical as well to make sure the 131 didn't overshoot his pit stall. Nope, he's good. So now it's going to be see which crew can get them out the fastest. And I say this will be a good battle for the pit exit here. Oh, they come out right next to each other. Couldn't quite get around him there in the 131, but this is also another place you have to be really careful. It's really easy to spin your tires there on pit exit. They do a really good job of not doing that. Also to say, when I was practicing, I unfortunately made that mistake. I got on it too soon, looped it, and definitely caught the wall and damaged my car. So, so those leaders just pitted right there. So that was, I believe, let's see, we're showing lap 18. So that was about about 18 laps or so on that run. So that might be what their fuel window is here. So based on that, I'm going to say they're going to need one more stop here to make it to the end. And then I'm also looking on the track. I think the 210, you can see he's actually closed that gap on these leaders as well. He's gotten a little closer. So he's got a car between them, I believe. I think that's the one of Gabe Butler, who has not pitted yet. So he's able to steal a little bit of draft off of that one car, which is definitely going to help him as well. So I'm expecting we'll see the one in here shortly, unless maybe he's trying to save his fuel here, maybe try to either do a one-stopper or just go, yeah, as I said, here comes the one entering the pits now. So that's going to put the top three back in the same position here. Saying there's one in front of him as well that just went in the pits. I think that's the 915. Yeah, that's the 915 that pitted there. So let's hop back over to the 131 here, though. So he's trying to keep that pressure on that 17 car. Right now, though, they've definitely shown that these two are at the moment the class of the field. As they've been able to keep their cars clean, minimize the mistakes, and just obviously also having the fast lap times as well. So right now, the fastest lap times have been the 17 with the 102.1, the 131 around a 117 or sorry, a 102.2. So yeah, so they're both right there. As I said it though, he's trying to catch back up to him. He's got the draft here. He's saying there was no push to pass. He was just using the drafter, so he's right back onto that bumper of that 17. And I think right now the 210, his goal is for these guys, if they can keep fighting each other, that's going to open the door for him to kind of keep closing that gap a little bit. Because if Craig can make the Chad in the 17 and make him kind of keep watching his mirrors, that usually slows both of them down. And again, that's where it seems like it really opens the door. And Devin's been charging that 210 car. He's showing to now he's within 2 seconds, where he was about 4 seconds back earlier before those pit stops. So he's done a really good job. You can see 131 pushed a little bit there in that turn, and say cost him a little bit of momentum. Let's see if he's going to decide to try to use one of those push passes to close that gap back up, just to make sure he stays in the drafting range. So as they come through the hairpin here, let's take a look, see if he does or not. No, it doesn't look like he does. Looks like he's still close enough to do it. Oh, as I say that, looks like the 210 may have made a mistake. I see him. Oh, you can see the left front wing damage. So let's go. I don't want to go back and miss anything, unfortunately, actually. But unfortunately, I'll say, that's unfortunate. I'll say Devin was making a really good charge there. But yeah, he's got some serious left front wing damage. So he overdrove it somewhere and just made a little bit of a mistake. So now we'll see if he's just going to try to limp that around, or if he's going to try to get this fixed now. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to stay out here. So he's going to have to try to limp this along until he gets into that window where he can pit again. But back up front here is, again, we got the 131 and the 17. They're coming up on a lap car. I believe that may be the 10 of Corey Lane. I think it is. So Corey right now is the last car on the lead lap as things run. He's showing in the 4th position. So these top three, as I said, there's a little bit of an issue there as they go through the hairpin. That was the 211 of Mark Rubilis. To say he was able to keep out of trouble there. You saw the 10 let those leaders go by, but that's opened the door here. So that 131's got to run. Now he's just deciding if he's going to try to do something with it. He's going to go to the outside here. See if he's going to back out or just try to force the 17 in a mistake. How's like they got through and say no positions changed there, but again, that's keeping that 17, just having to keep an eye on his mirrors all the time, and the more he can do that, the better chances he has of trying to force that 17 and Chad Wilkes into mistakes. So really good job by these guys right now. Say they're putting on a really good show between the two of them. Been enjoying watching them. Saying it looks like, unfortunately, Gabe Butler must have had something happen during his pit stop there, because he came in, I think it was in the 4th position, and now he is showing in the 10th position. So He's showing, yeah, he's showing 2 laps down at the moment. And then say, I think Devin Brock is in the pits at the moment as well, or he may have had to retire the car. No, he's in the pits, I think, right on the 210. So I'll keep an eye on his stop here and see. I think he might be getting that wing damage repaired. Decided it wasn't worth limping it around. Just probably car was not driving well. Yeah, looks like he's coming out of the pits right now. So he's going to stay on the lead lap, but definitely going to need some bad luck to help his cause. But right now he's pretty solidly, though, still in that 3rd position. He's got, I don't know, he's got about 10, 15 seconds probably over that 10 of Corey Lane as things run right now. So. But again, up front though, these two, the 17 and 131, Chad Wilkes and Craig Forsyth, they're staying after it here. Say keeping each other honest. So say it's been a lot of fun watching them here. Say well, we've been kind of keeping an eye as well on the push to passes. Let's say you can still see Craig's still sitting on the 7. I'm willing to bet that Chad's still on the 10, and he is. So he hasn't used any of his up yet. Again, that's going to be an advantage for later on in the run. So just have to keep an eye on that as well here. But so right now they're kind of in a nice little just little group with the 2 of them. They're catching up to a couple of cars a little bit ahead. Probably got about 5 seconds or so till they get to most like this the 76 and the I think it's the 36 possibly that they're coming up on. Looks like this 071 may be in the pits. Yep, 071 just pitted there. We just saw. But right now, there you saw one of the lap cars. I think that was the 36 we just saw go by. So right now, some of these guys are showing right now is now being 1 lap down just due to the pit cycle difference. So as things have changed now, say we still have Corey Lane in the 4th position. In 5th is now Michael Spell in the 88. In 6th is Charles Johnson in the 28 car. 7th is Dwight Plush, and 8th is Jim Brooks. And it looks like the 915 is in the pits as we speak. As is the 200 and the 071. They just exiting the pits now. So we'll keep an eye in here. So we'll hop over onto the 76 car. So we'll go to the gearbox. You're going to see. So he's got Art Peck behind him, but then right behind him are going to be those 2 leaders. So you're going to see those guys kind of come into the fore. Oh, they say that the 36 gets. Oh, they both go a little wide. They're trying to get around the 80. Oh no, they're both in the grass. One spun. But it looks like the leaders are able to sneak through there. That's again another little moment though that leaders are able to get around. I thought I saw someone spin there. I think it was the 88. Yeah, Michael Spell. I think he had something happen there, and so they went wide to try to avoid him. Unfortunately, that threw him off their line and got him into the dirt. That caused the 36 to spin, but both leaders were able to get away or get around it without being involved there. So. Yeah, definitely a moment there for those guys. But again, up front, though, that 17 and the 131 are definitely still kind of putting on their clinic right now. Devin Brock is not too far ahead of them, actually. He hasn't been able to recover as well as I was thinking he might. So you can see the car damage is repaired, so he's back on it here. Right now, he's about half a straightaway or so ahead of the leaders. He is the last car on the lead lap as things run. But yeah, they're doing... So he's going to have to try to see if he can just kind of hit his marks, minimize any more mistakes to stay in the lead lap and then capitalize should anything happen to that 17 or the 131, because we've seen how fast things are happening here. So well, to kind of keep an eye on that as well as things progress here. Say time-wise, it looks like they're showing, saying it's lap 25 of 49, so I think we're just about that halfway mark. Again, with it being the 51 minutes, so I'm going to say that's probably about another, looks like they were saying about 23, 24 minutes. I'll say you'll have to bear with me on that one. I'll say this is the first time race I've done, so I don't know where I can find some of the info, unfortunately, on that. I think what happens is once the time runs out, either I think it throws the white flag or it just says that's the checker right there. So that'll be something we'll have to keep an eye on as the ticker progresses through here. But right now, so I do want to show some of this other stuff going around, but these guys are staying right on top of each other, so I don't want to miss anything here. Because this is also the best battle on track right now. These two are staying right nose to tail. This whole first fuel run now going on to the second fuel run. So you can see right there, though, the 17 was able to sneak a little bit away from the 131 exiting that last turn there. So that's going to be a little bit of extra work for Craig to try to make up there. But as I say that, the 17 is going to come out behind a guy behind a car that just exited the pits. So I couldn't catch the car number, but you can see right there, it's definitely going to cause him some momentum loss there. So he's going to see what he can do to get around him here. Not sure where he's going to be able to make it happen. See if he can do it into the hairpin. I think that was actually may have been Charles Johnson, if I saw correctly there. And so now it's going to be up to the 131 to do the same. Looks like he followed him through there. And yeah, sure enough, looks like that was Charles Johnson who just made his pit stop. So he's showing right now in the 5th position, just making that last pit, or just making a pit stop right now. So we'll be curious to see if he can make it to the end or not from there. Maybe he was short pitting to pit as soon as he can make it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So he's made a really good run as well, starting in the 13th position up to the top 5. But you see right now the leaders are coming on a big group of traffic. They're going to have to try to figure out how to weave their way through there. Oh no! Say the 131, say he got on the brakes there too much, and unfortunately, say spun it around there. He's going to try to get back going here. I'm sure he's missing his front wing completely. He is. The whole nose cone of that car is gone. Just they weren't sure. There was a question on where he needed to go there, just because you could see where those cars are. Oh, and it's saying there's no, with the front wing being gone, there's just no front downforce, and so it got him into the outside wall. I'll say, unfortunately, that gets him into the pits here. You're going to have to tow all the way around there. I feel bad for Craig there. He was doing a really good job there. So that definitely changes the strategy now for Chad. He's just going to probably go on kind of this cruise mode now, just minimize any mistakes and go from there. Say we'll say in front of him. Actually, I think trying to find where the, oh, okay, 210 is still up there. So what we'll see here though is that's going to probably move the 210 of Devin Brock now up into the 2nd position as they come around here. Because again, that the 131 is going to have a really long tow. As I say that, he goes off track. I believe that was him. Oh, sorry, he was further ahead still. I'm looking at the, oh, that was the 071, I think, that went off. And so yeah, so that's going to move the 210, I believe, into the 2nd position here. We'll have to wait for the timing scoring to update there. And so I'm waiting to see as well when the 131 is going to be able to come out of the pits. To say it's going to be a long tow, unfortunately, because he just had passed the start-finish line there with all that happening. Just got a little too aggressive after the incident, unfortunately, and that's just, yeah, that's all there was there. So yeah, so right now we're watching the 210 of Devin Brock. So he's, I believe, currently now 2nd, was showing 3rd there earlier. So with that tow, it's definitely going to change things up a little bit for Craig Forsyth. I'd say he's going to probably be somewhere in that top 5 or so groups. I think this is going to possibly cost him a 2nd lap as they come around here. Yeah, so it's definitely going to cost him a 2nd lap. So you'll see the 210 cycling around here. Yeah, it puts him now up into the 2nd position. Last car on the lead lap. Again, it's saying you got the leader there right behind him with the 17 of Chad Wilkes. So we'll say with now that all that's kind of gone on, let's go ahead and try to cycle through a little bit for what we can see here. I'll say we'll keep an eye as well. We'll hop on board with these guys. So again, we mentioned the leader Chad Wilkes. Obviously, definitely a beneficiary from that bad luck for Craig Forsyth. As I said, he gets really loose there entering the hairpin, able to gather it back up there. 2nd place right in front of him is the 210 of Chad Wilkes. He has 6 of the push to passes remaining. Again, right now on the tail end of the lead lap. Moving up now to 3rd is the 10 of Corey Lane. So he has not used any of his push to passes as well, so he still has them all remaining. He's about a straightaway or so behind Devin Brock for the 2nd position as they run. And so he started 14th and is up to 3rd. So I think, yep, the 131 Craig Forsyth just left the pit, so he got the fast repair done. He's back on track. I believe he is for sure 2 laps down, and we'll have to wait for everything to cycle through to see where he officially is position-wise. From where I'm looking, it looks like he's going to be about 2.5 laps or so down, I think, at the moment. And you got the 28 of Charles Johnson, currently showing 5th, may move up to 4th. It would say, well, wait for this lap to cycle, see where everybody is. Say he started in the 13th position, again, all the way up to the top 5, so that's a really good run for him here. Then you got the 44 of Dwight Plesh. So he just came out of the hairpin there. So he is showing in the 6th position. In 7th was Jim Brooks. So I think now it's going to be Gabe Butler in the 1, who's 76 just made a pit stop there. So this will switch over. So Gabe, I believe, will be up to 6th position or 7th position. So I'm waiting for everybody to cycle through here to see. I think this last pit window is just starting to open up right now for these guys. Alright, let's see where everybody is here. So I'm gonna hop back over to the leader here. We'll cycle through one more time. You see right behind them is, I can't quite, I think that might be Michael Spell. It's right behind the leaders. No, actually no, it's Charles Johnson who's right behind the leader right there. So I believe that's gonna put Charles, I think that was putting Charles down a 2nd lap right now. However, Charles had just pitted a few laps prior to that, so once Chad Wilkes pits, that's going to put him back just a 1 lap down. And it looks like everything has just cycled through us. I'm waiting for that 131 just to make sure if it's just the 1 down or 2. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like Craig Forsyth is right now still 1 lap down, so he's in the 4th position there. So obviously not what he wanted to have happen, unfortunately, but he is still on track. So he's 1 lap down. He just pitted as well after getting that tow, so not sure if he can make it on fuel or not from where he pitted or not, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. However, that could definitely open the door up for him to maybe see if he can jump around still the 10 of Corey Lane to get back up into the podium positions. And saying Devin Brock as well, he's right now showing still on the tail end of the lead lap. Let's let me jump over to that 210 car. So you can see he's coming out down the backstretch right there. So you can see he's got a not even a half a straightaway in front of the lead there. So he's just kind of holding on to that tail end of the lead lap here. But yeah, no, saying yeah, Tim, you're right though. That really hurts for Craig. I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated with that. And as I say that, actually, the 131's back in the pits here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Might just be a fuel, maybe top off to make it to the end at this point. So that car looks in good shape. Maybe this was the window, so he just decided to pit as soon as the window opened and then go to the end from here. So I don't see any damage to the car. I'm not sure what's going on here. So it seems like a long pit stop as well. No, so it's not gonna go, guessing the way he was hoping for. Say, no, I'll keep an eye as things progress though. But yeah, so that's definitely unfortunate. I say I feel bad for Craig there. So it looks like, yeah, he's still just sitting in the pit. So I'll keep an eye, see if and when he comes back out there. So that's definitely going to help things out though for Devin Brock, Corey Lane. I think that's going to help reduce that challenge. As I say that, here comes the leader, Chad Wilkes. He's in the pits. Nope, as I said, the 131 did just come out of the pits there. However, it was a 47-second pit stop, so I'm not sure if maybe he had already used both faster pairs and maybe there was still some damage or what happened there. So we'll see where he finishes. Maybe we can check with him after the race. I'm not sure if he'll want to talk too much about it though. I'll say, as you can see, those 17's in the pits, going to get his service done right now in that 17 car. And then so you see if, I say there's 88 goes by, 28's already by. So he's going to come out in pretty clean track position. He's going to have Michael Spell in front of him, but still, again, a few turns away. We're showing roughly, it looks like around 14 laps or so are going to be remaining based on the timer. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So that's going to move, looks like, yeah, so that's going to move Devin Brock still. He'll still be in second place, so that's going to move him that little bit closer, at least until he has to make his pit stop. He's got about 13 laps or so on this run, so he's still got a little ways that he can go before he has to pit. And then in the third position is Corey Lane, saying that pit stop for the 17 put him back on the lead lap as well. He pitted about 16 laps ago, so he'll probably have to make a stop as well there. And then, yeah, so with that, with whatever happened to Craig Forsyth, that moves now Charles Johnson out up into the fourth position in that 28 car. He pitted about 10 laps ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Charles, as soon as I put the camera on you, I said I don't know if I was jinxing you there or not. It looks like, there it goes, okay, pointing back straight again as the 10 goes by. Lynn, I'm sorry. I was just trying to update him. I wasn't trying to say anything one way or the other. Looks like he's kept his track position. I don't think it cost him any spots. So I say just lost a little bit of track time there. And then behind him in fifth is the 76 of Jim Brooks. Behind him, Jim is the 44 of Dwight. Nope, sorry. Behind Jim now is the 131 and Craig Forsyth now in the sixth position. Who just pitted. Jim pitted about 3 laps before him, so about 6 laps ago. So we'll have to see how. I say we've seen how fast Craig is, so we'll see if Craig's able to kind of bring that gap back down here. Dwight Plush is in the 7th position in the 44 car. And as a man, I just got to stop showing these cars. Every time I show them, they're having something happen there. So that's the 44, unfortunately. Looks like he's going to either take a fast repair or may have, yeah, looks like he's done a fast repair, or sorry, a tow here. So I'm going to be careful here. This is the one of Gabe Butler. He was in 8th, should move up to 7th. I don't know how I've been switching these cars right as they have had incidents. I apologize for that, for the drivers. I say if when you watch the broadcast again, it wasn't intentional, I swear. I'm just trying to update everybody on where everybody is. I say as we were showing that, though, the 131 of Craig Forsyth was able to get around the 76 of Jim Brooks. That's going to put him now back into the top 5. And he's got about, I say, over half a lap. He's got a fair distance to try to catch Charles Johnson. Just depends, really. I think if Charles has to make a pit stop, that could get him up into the 4th position. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. But back up front, though, Chad Wilkes, say right now he's actually kind of exactly where he wants to be. There's nobody around him, in front of him, or behind him. As saying again, with the pit strategy, with the bad luck for Craig, say he can just kind of pretty much just take it easy here and make it all the way to the end. Just got to try to keep it clean and go the rest of the way there. The 210, say Devin Brock is actually also in that same kind of a position right now. He's, nobody around him. He's in a nice little calm spot as well. Still showing in the second position. He's about 22 seconds behind the leaders. He was also pretty quick there. I think, say had that little mistake earlier, and that cost him some time as well. However, say he's recovered well and now up into the second position. And then looks like Corey Lane just made a pit stop here in the 10 car. So jump over to Corey here. And that's going to put Corey, I'll have to wait for things to cycle through. I'm not sure if that puts Corey into the 3rd. I'm not sure if Charles Johnson got by him for position or not, or if he was already ahead. So I'll say we'll wait for this pit stop to cycle through here. But you can see he's got the 131 of Craig Forsyth behind him. And if that puts Corey down a lap, that's going to be a battle for position here. So wait for, also keep an eye on here because this will be a good little battle. And we'll try to see where, position-wise, where things kind of leave off here. Because unfortunately, I say my stuff doesn't update until the lap is completed. But as I say that, they're coming around the last turn right now. So you can see the 131's got a pretty good head of steam. We're going to see if he wants to try to take a look. Not yet. And it looks like as they've cycled through, still showing Corey Lane in that 3rd spot. So I think right now he's got about a half a lap or so lead over the 28 of Charles Johnson. And as you can see right there, Craig Forsyth will be the next car for position. So he's got about a full lap on him. So should Corey be able to keep it clean here? I think he can probably get a 3rd or 4th position here. Oh, as my jinx continues, he's able to keep it off the wall, though. Really good heads up there by Corey Lane, able to keep it clean there, get back on track. No damage or anything like that. Just probably some serious pucker factor there. Again, I'm jinxing these guys every time I show them. Something's happening, and although that, to be fair on that one, I did say he could get a 3rd or 4th if things kept going well. So I apologize in advance on that one. I'll take the blame for that one. While that was going on, I just noticed the 210 of Devin Brock made his pit stop, so he'll for sure be able to make it to the end now on this set. And then position-wise, same thing. Looks like he's still ahead of the 17 of Chad Wilkes, so he'll stay on the lead lap here. Chad's going to be about maybe about a half a straight or a little more behind the 210 of Devin Brock. But right now, I'm going to say the top 3 for sure can make it to the end because they've only done basically it's 1 lap, 6 laps, and 4 laps for the 3 of them. The ones we'll have to keep an eye on is if Charles Johnson can make it to the. Oh, as I see, there's one car there up against the wall. I think that may have been the 071. Yeah, it looks like it was, of Eric Laurie. So he just got going here. Make sure the leader's able to get around. Okay, he's in the pits there, so nothing there. So yeah, so I think right now these guys are in a pretty good spot. So everybody's kind of strung out now. It looks a little calmer. For those that are out of the race, unfortunately, it looks like Robert Richards has had retired earlier, as has Maxwell Caldwell, David Leclerc, Mark Rabillas, Art Peck, and Stuart Ovens. Those 6 have retired. I believe possibly Bud Steele as well. And Dwight Plush and Eric Laurie are both in the pits as we speak. So I'm not sure. Dwight's been in the pits for a while, so I'm not sure if he's still going, or he might just be kind of observing from there. But right now, though, they say still the top 3, the 17 of Chad Wilkes, the 210 of Devin Brock, and then the 10 of Corey Lane. Right now, the 17 is coming up on the 88 of Michael Spell, who's in the 8th position. He's kind of running on a lap on his own right now. He's got a lap ahead of the 915 of Jared Kaczynski, and then a lap behind. He's a lap behind the 1 of Gabe Butler, so he's got a ways to go there. So right now, though, yeah, I mean, if I'm that 17 car, I'm just kind of going cruise control right now. Say we've got just over about 5. I think about 6-7 minutes or so left on the race time. I'm saying again, right now he's the only car around him is that 88. Say in front of him you got the 210 of Devin Brock. Looks like he was catching up on a car there. Can't quite catch. Oh, that's Charles Johnson actually there. Say Charles again is in the 4th position here. So right now, say they're kind of just running their same thing. They're kind of in their own little race right now. Again, say these guys have had pretty good charge for Corey Lane, Charles Johnson starting 13th and 14th, running 3rd and 4th. So they've had a really good gain during the runs here. And then let's see, it looks like we got a couple more in the pits there. You got the 915 of Jared Kaczynski. He's in the pits here from the 9th position. And I think, yeah, I don't think that's going to affect. And I'm trying to see track position-wise if maybe that'll open up the door for someone like Eric Laurie. He's, I think, the next in line for position. But it doesn't look like that's the case on that one. And then 17 has gotten by. The leader's gotten by the 88 of Michael Spell. So I'll give him some more clear track position as well. So now he can kind of just, same thing, kind of focus forward. He's got about a half a straightaway or so until he gets back to the 210 of Devin Brock, which at this rate, I don't know if he'll actually ever get to him, because I say the 210's had a lot of pace on that car as well. So I think right now he's in a pretty safe position here. As I say that, though, I've been jinxing drivers left and right, so I'll have to be careful about what I say there. Apologies in advance, Chad, should anything happen to you. But yeah, so right now, well, let's go ahead and run through the field here. So we mentioned already the leader, Chad Wilkes, still has not touched those push-to passes. Behind him, you've got the 210 here of Devin Brock in the 2nd position, and 3rd is Corey Lane in the 10. As I say that, oh no, I think he may have actually got some damage. Oh yes, he's missing his left front end plate there on those wings. So something happened there as we were showing him. I mentioned Charles Johnson. Looks like Charles is in the pits. So I think he just made his pit stop. So we'll keep an eye. Also, I'm going to keep an eye on the 10, see if 10's going to decide to try to make a pit stop here or not. So I mentioned Charles Johnson just pitted there. He was in the 4th position. And I think he's still. So I'm trying to see if he's still ahead of Craig Forsyth or not in the 131. So right now the 131 is showing in the 5th position. I'll say I will have to wait till the lap cycles through to see. And then also looks like the 10 has stayed out, so he's going to try to. I think he's going to try to limp this one to the end, try to keep that 3rd spot. You just have to be careful, as it's definitely not going to drive the way it was earlier. In 6th position, we have the 76 of Jim Brooks. In 7th is the 1 of Gabe Butler. So it looks like he's actually right. He's right. Oh, there he is. Yeah, right behind that 10 car. Saying I think, like I mentioned, I think the 10 right now is just going to try to minimize any troubles here. So I think he still has a lap on the guys around him. And yeah, actually, so that pit stop by Charles Johnson actually does put him behind the 131 and Craig Forsyth. So that moves Craig now back up into the 4th position. Charles in 5th, and then Jim in 6th, to say while we're showing Gabe Butler there in 7th. In 8th is the 88 of Michael Spell. Looks like he had a bit of a moment there, unfortunately. I won't take blame for that. It happened before I got to him. And then in the 9th position is Eric Laurie in the 071. And I believe that's, so those 9 cars, I believe, are the last cars that are running. So we've got 9 remaining of the 18 that started here. So attrition has definitely played a role with this one. Again, this is a really difficult track to race at. Easy to make mistakes, and you get off track just a little bit, and it'll definitely bite. So, and actually, you know, I think that 10's gonna have to be careful here. So I'm still watching the 10 here of Corey Lane, because right now you're gonna see the 17 car of Chad Wilkes. He's gonna be coming up to him here as they come through the hairpin. But then not that far behind is the 131 of Craig Forsyth. So he could still, after all this is said and done, still possibly recover and get that 3rd place finish. He's about a half a straightaway behind. I think we're going to have about 2 or 3 laps to go here. Just depends on where everything falls. So we'll keep an eye on the leader here, and we'll kind of watch as he goes through start finish line, see if it shows any flags or anything like that. Say according to this, there's still 4 to go, so it'll be 3 to go. Say no flag there. Yeah, say on my screen, on my other screen, I'm showing it's saying there's 2 laps to go. So this could definitely open the door here for that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Oh man, he's closing the gap really quickly on that 10 car. So as I say that, more right on board here, you're going to see the 10 here really shortly. There he is right there. So I think this could possibly bring Craig Forsyth back up into, oh, as you see right there, Corey Lane's off track. Craig's going to have to be careful. He's able to get around him there. I think that right there is going to move Craig now into the 3rd position here. And so the next up for battles for position for that 10 car is going to be the 28 of Charles Johnson and then the 76 of Jim Brooks, who are kind of in the same boat. They're about a straightaway or so behind the 10 car. However, that 10 is just having all sorts of trouble with that front wing missing here. So just unfortunately that left front end plate, that's just, the car just won't turn there. And yeah, sure enough, he's about a full straightaway or so ahead. So let's hop over here to the 17 car. So I'm not sure if they got the white that time by or not. So my thing was saying 2 to go. This is saying roughly 1 to go. So we'll keep an eye here. Say once we get over to the start finish line. Say, as I said, he's about half a lap away or so. Well, actually, my thing's saying 2 to go now. So I think this is starting to, yeah, so I think we're accurate here. So now we're 2 to go. As he comes through the hairpin here, is going to get back onto the backstretch. Say, I'm trying to also still keep an eye on Corey Lane as well, because again, I think that could be the next battle for position here. So he's got the 88 there of Michael Spell behind him. That's not for position. However, should he lose a little bit too much time trying to let the 88 car by, that's really going to open up the door for Charles Johnson and try to get a top 5 finish here. So 17's getting close to start finish line here. Let's go back on board with him. So we'll see. We'll take a look at the flag, man. I didn't say anything there. It was saying final lap on my display and everything, but I didn't see anything on the flagman side. So based on the way 17's back down, I think that was actually it right there. So that was the 17 taking the win here. So let's go back through the field here. We got the 210. So he's going to make his way around, try to finish up his lap here, stay in the lead lap here, and try to finish in the 2nd position here. So the 131 has already crossed the line behind the 17, so that's going to put him, as you see, the 17 go for a slide there. So that's going to put the 210 here. He's still coming around the line. It's going to put him in the 3rd position once he gets through these last turn. And it looks like the 10 of Corey Lane was able to hold off Charles Johnson and Jim Brooks for 4th. So it's going to put Corey Lane in 4th, Jim Brooks in 5th. Or sorry, Charles Johnson in 5th and Jim Brooks in 6th. But say the winner tonight, though, as he ramps through the grass there, is Chad Wilkes in the 17 car. Say again, won the race last week in Milwaukee, and I believe won the Cup race here on Thursday as well. So he's having a pretty good go of things. So I say we'll see if we got some of these drivers here we can pull up and have a chat with them. So we'll see if we got Craig Forsyth. We do. So I'm guessing he won't be the happiest of interviewees. However, I'll say it's one of those things you still got to do. So let's go grab that 131 car. Pulling Craig in over here in that 131. Say you got a copy?
I do.
So it was a blast watching you just stay all over the back of that 17 of Chad Wilkes, keeping him honest. And then unfortunately though, we saw in that front stretch, I believe we were even riding on board with you when all that went down there, where just they were kind of staggered and just seemed like there's nowhere really for you to go or figure out where you needed to go. And I say that kind of killed your nose cone. And then from there, having to take the tow. I'll say up until that point, I mean, take us through your race. Did you have kind of a game plan going into it, just trying to just kind of keeping the 17 honest to try to force him into a mistake, or because it looked like you two were pretty much the class of the field.
Yeah, I was just basically planning ride behind him, try and pit 2 or 3 laps early to get some clean air before that last pit stop, and then that was the plan, was to come out ahead of him. But yeah, I think the name of the day was lap traffic, and yeah, it was just one of the guys was go left, the other one was go right, and I think they've suddenly realized at the last second that they were side by side. So it was a recipe for disaster. And as I was coming up on them, I did not want to hit Chad. So it was sacrifice myself.
Yeah, so it was definitely hurt to see that. So you were having a really good run. I mean, you recovered well though, so able to get back up into that third position. But I was commenting though just how much of a handful this track is, especially with the Indy cars, with everything happening so fast. I don't know if you want to try to explain from the driver's seat kind of what you're having to try to keep an eye on throughout the race, because like I was trying to keep up with what you guys were doing, and just it was all happening so quick for me on up here.
That's just, yeah, you've got to trust your downforce. It's like this track requires speed around the corners, and you can lose a second a lap just by being timid on a corner. So you've got to trust your downforce, other than the kink or the hairpin, of course, which first, second, you've just got to make it around that corner. You lose all your downforce coming up into that hairpin. So yeah, you've got to feather the throttle on that one.
Yeah, it was a blast watching you. Say again, I'm unfortunate the way it finished up, but I say you're able to recover well. But want to give you the opportunity here for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for your result though tonight.
I got to thank the Area 51 guys. They put on a great race, and it's nice to have a good result. So that's about it, really, honestly.
All right, so it's the 131 Craig Forsyth coming home third. Definitely had options for, or had the ability for more, just wrong place, wrong time with the lap traffic there. I say definitely hate it for him, but I say he's definitely shown he's going to be one to contend with throughout the season. So we'll grab the second place finisher here of Devin Brock. Say came home second in that 210 car. Same thing. I think you kind of got caught up in a little bit of I don't know what you want to call it, a little bit of difficulty there with some damage early on. Got it fixed, and then able to bounce back and get back to the second position. But take us through your night.
Yeah, it was a bit of a it was a good night. Think it could have been up there to fight for the win a little bit if not for those mistakes. But car was handling well, got used to the track changing a little bit. It was a little it's handled pretty well throughout the first run there. Came out of the pits, got the tires heated up, just a little bit, couple millimeters here and there, but other than that, it's pretty good. And I'm happy with the finish.
Yeah, so at a track like this, is it just pretty much near impossible to keep it clean the whole way? Just like with as I mean, it's a pretty narrow track, and these cars are just hauling the mail through the turns, and it's just I ran a couple test laps, and just like once you touch the grass, you're pretty much, if you can just do a spin, you can kind of count your blessings.
Exactly, because it's so many of these corners have bumps, and the car once it gets bumpy, and you have to be careful not to be too much on the brakes or go around or be shifting down at the wrong time. It'll just whip around on you, or turn in too hard or too late, and it'll just whip around on you. And that's what happened to me on one of the parts when I was going downhill, and I got into the wall there. But luckily, we were already first to third was already pretty far ahead, so I was able to get in the pits and get it fixed and get back out and stay in third. So
I'll say you had a really good run. Like you said, recovered well. And just, yeah, I want to give you a chance here for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for your finish tonight.
yeah, give a shout out to Larry Yingling. He's helped me through this whole process, helped me and coached me and crew chiefed me. So I definitely want to give a shout out to him. He helped me out a lot tonight. So shout out to him.
Yeah, so that's some good. That's a good resource to have in your pocket there. So we've been definitely watching Larry on the Cup Series side, and he definitely will put on a clinic when he's on his game. So that's a good one to
Absolutely.
have on your wing. All right, well, say good run again. Say look forward to catching you in the future races. But again, congrats here on your
Appreciate
second place.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go grab our winner here. So I don't think you're going to get tired of these interviews. I'll say we got the 17 of Chad Wilkes. You've been on a roll these last few races. Say one last week, one on Thursday, and got another one here tonight. I say take us through your night. I say you definitely had your hands full at the beginning, and then just I was talking with Craig saying just that the way the lap traffic went there, he was kind of got caught up in it, and then from there you're kind of it looked like you're pretty much able to set sail the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, there was such a big difference in, like, I mean, I don't really blame the lap traffic just because, I mean, they've got a race too, but there really, you could sort of see it in qualifying too. There was such a big difference between the pace that the top three had compared to everybody else. And so, yeah, I mean, it happens. I feel bad for Craig. It was going to be a fun race. I didn't even get to use it to push to pass or anything. I've never raced a road course in an Indy car, so I was excited to see how those work and actually get in a battle. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, so I think the three of you, the yourself, Devin Brock, and Craig Forsyth, you three were, I think, kind of the class of the field speed wise. You guys were definitely hauling the mail there, lap time wise. I'm saying for this being your first IndyCar road course race, I say obviously did really well there. But I say how did the track feel? I say this is definitely a challenging one to kind of start off with.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's also my first race. I had to buy this track for this race too, but that's not like toot my own horn. I race like ovals is sort of like my side thing. Like when I practice iRacing, I race for a endurance road course racing team. So like road courses are generally my thing. When I practice iRacing, that's what I do. So ovals is just whatever I get on ovals is a bonus. Um, but yeah, it's a really tough track because the setup was really good from an aero standpoint. But the ride height was a little too low, and the suspension was a little stiff, and there's a lot of bumps in really tough spots, like where either you're full throttle through a corner or in a breaking point. And when you have bumps where the car can bottom out, where you're either full throttle or on the brakes and trying to turn at the same time, the car really can't handle all of that. So you kind of have to know where those bumps are coming, or you could easily just sort of spin the car out with no problem. So yeah, it's a very tough track, but it's really fun. I mean, elevation changes, blind corners, high speed corners, all that stuff is a lot of fun. I mean, this is more fun to me than normal oval racing. So I had a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching you guys. Let's say you guys were putting on a show, especially that first half. I say you had Craig Forsyth in that 131 keeping you honest there. But I say yeah, a really good run. Congrats again on the win. I say I think this is three in a row here for you in Area 51 with Indy cars and then the Cup cars here. At least with me, I should say. So I haven't checked the results of the other one. So you've been on a pretty good roll here. So I want to give you any opportunity for any thanks and shouts that you like to give for your win tonight.
No, yeah, as always, thanks to Area 51. I'm going to shout out my endurance road course racing team, No Luck Motorsports. We got a huge endurance race this weekend, a 6 hour race at Spa. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, it's a blast racing with these guys, and they do a good job putting it on. And hopefully, I can keep the run going.
All right, I'll say congrats again on your win. I look forward to catching you on Thursday, and yeah, saying good luck on your endurance race there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so there you have it from your winner there, Chad Wilkes. So say we'll go ahead and go through the results here. So say again, say see the top 10 here. Say Chad Wilkes with able to get the win there. Devin Brock able to recover and get that second position. I say Craig Forsyth. I say definitely had the pace to challenge Chad there for the win. I say Devin did as well. Just a little bit of misfortune on their parts, either mistakes or just getting caught up in traffic. Corey Lane able to hang on there, get that fourth position. And then Charles Johnson, Jim Brooks able to get 5th and 6th. And then rounding out the top 10, you have Michael Spell, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, and Jared Kaczynski rounds out the top 10. And then the 11th through 20th, you have Dwight Plush in the 44, Stuart Ovens, Art Peck in 13th, Mark Robillis in 14th, Bud Steele in 15th, David Leclerc in 16th, Maxwell Caldwell in 17th, Robert Richards, and in 19th was James Ledford. So again, we just want to thank you all for joining us here with the Area 51 Racing League here on Green White Checkered TV. Race winner was Chad Wilkes in the 17 car. Him, Craig Forsyth, Devin Brock, those guys put on a really good show. Chad was able to hang on to there, get the win. So thank you again for joining us here tonight. I look forward to catching you guys on Thursday for the Cup Series. So for myself, with Green White Checker TV, hope you all have a safe and wonderful evening. So remember to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll catch you guys all on Thursday. So have a good night.